Hello, thank you for tuning in to another wonderful episode with your host Savannah on Lupus Has No Face podcast with our wonderful special guest Nisha.
Mhm.
We will be discussing unmasking the overlap and journey with lupus and NMO. And for those that do not know what that is called neuromyelitis optical.
Neuro, neuromyelitis optica.
Neuromyelitis optical. She said a little faster than me, so it sounds better, right? Okay, so listen, y'all don't even know what took place behind these scenes, okay? Y'all don't even know what took place behind these scenes. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. Today is only Wednesday, hump day. Okay, so we had a lot of, but we good, right, Tom? We good. That's what you call life. Okay, we did a lot of pivoting. Okay, what about you, Nisha? Did you have any mishaps today? Did anything not go as planned? And if so, what did you do?
Oh Lord, well, I'm just getting back from LA from the weekend,
Okay.
so I've been still sleeping, trying to recover. I'm part of the Guthrie Jackson Foundation with people with NMO. So I got a chance to network, talk to doctors, ask questions. So it's overwhelming, a lot of stuff, a lot of conferences, meetings, but I enjoyed it, had a good time, met new people, got a chance to, like I say, speak with doctors and everything. So just trying to recover from that, but I'm good and I had to work today. So I've been chilling after that.
We always got to get to the bag. We got to spend the
Yes,
bag and
yes,
we got to get to the bag for some more money back. A vicious cycle, if you ask me.
yes.
That's dope. So let's jump into it. Who is Nisha? Who is Nisha without the diagnosis?
Nisha is a quiet person, quiet, loving, um, a sharing person, kind. I'm a listening ear to others. Like, my friends will call me. I'm that person that they could vent to, talk to without no judgment. Um, a listening ear. I'm just laid back and chill. Laid back and chill. I try not to get too rattled up or, stressed out about things. So that that's me.
That's dope.
Oh,
And
and then I am a church going person. I do attend church, God's Congregation Worship Center in Lombard. So I'm a faith believer as well.
period. Period. Those are all dope things, and I must say I had the privilege of encountering some of those dope characteristics and personality traits. So thank you.
Thank you.
So we're gonna jump into a little background, right? So can you take us back to the beginning? What were those first signs or symptoms that something wasn't right before your lupus diagnosis in 2006?
Well, 2006, that's when it all started. And me and my friend always make a joke about this when people ask me. Um, 2006 is where it all started. I started getting symptoms of just knee pain and the swelling of my right knee. I was going back and forth to the doctor. I'm like, my knee is hurting. It just keeps swelling. They was like, oh, okay, it's just arthritis. Maybe you could take some ibuprofen or something that helps with inflammation. So I started doing that. The symptoms started getting worse just with my knee. It was getting hot to the touch, like really swole. I was limping. Went back to the doctor. They did more blood work, and that's when they diagnosed me with lupus. And at that time, they put me on medications, steroids, and Plaquenil, things like that, just to, keep the lupus under control. And I had to go see a rheumatologist. So at that time, once they put me on the meds, I did pretty good from it. Just had chest pains, arthritis symptoms, but nothing too major. Nothing too major with the lupus.
Oh, okay, so that's really dope to hear. So your this is the first story that I've heard that it wasn't too major. So you was basically just having knee pain and they diagnosed it right away. You didn't have to wait for years. You didn't, have no scary moments where, you had the faint or anything like that. You just it was a one and done basically.
Basically, yes, with the lupus, yes.
Okay. And it all was just something so minor as a knee pain, swelling, and hot to the touch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yes.
very important, you guys, to if something is wrong with you and it's not your normal, go to your primary care provider and start there. Do not ignore because something so minor like that can be something so huge and can cost you your life. So my apologies, y'all. That's how I stay organized. I got alarms that goes off all the time. They tell me when to stop doing things, when to start a different project. So I have alarms going off all the time. My producer will tell you, like they go off all the time. So how old were you when you got diagnosed?
I was 26 years old when
Okay.
I got diagnosed. Yes.
And did they give you a reason why or what triggered it or
I had no clue at all. And I was the first one in my family. It wasn't genetic or anything like that. I was the first one in my family that was diagnosed with lupus. I have a niece now that ended up with lupus, but I was the first one in my family that they had no clue on how it started. I was the first one.
okay? How did you react emotionally and mentally receiving that diagnosis, especially at a time when lupus was less widely understood?
Right. So that was my first time ever hearing about lupus. So it really didn't affect me emotionally or mentally because I was like, I still looked at it as a arthritis thing. Like I said, I didn't have anything major going on with my organs or anything like that. So it was basically the pain, the arthritis joint pain. So mentally I was fine with that mentally. I took, pain pills if I needed to, if I was in pain, and stayed on my steroids and the Plaquenil for that, but mentally I was fine.
So, being the fact that majority everyone that I met has lupus and rheumatoid arthritis, I'm going to say they almost they do go hand in hand.
Mhm. Yep.
That
They
is crazy.
definitely
So
do.
yeah, I think it needs to be some type of study on, you know what I'm saying, like what causes it because we still don't know what causes lupus to this day.
Mm-mm. No.
Need to do a
And
little
a
bit.
lot of people was misdiagnosed with it, like, not knowing. Like I said, first I was diagnosed with just arthritis and just sending me home with pain pills. And finally, after more blood work, then lupus. And I'm like, lupus? Like, I didn't know what it was. So, yeah, I
Okay.
never heard of it.
So when you got diagnosed with it, did you start educating yourself? Did you ever accept it? Have you accepted to this day?
I accepted it, yes. And at that time, I really didn't research it that much. Like, I just, okay, I got it, fine. Let's, go through the meds, do what I got to do. I really didn't dig deep into it. And maybe because the reason why is because of the symptoms that I had. Maybe if I had more symptoms that that was affecting my organs or whatever, maybe I would have. But since it was something minor, I didn't.
Okay. So you feel if you was affected more or had some extraneous more activity going on with your body, then you would have been like, let me look into seeing what this is.
Right. Yes. Yes. So I really didn't educate myself at that time. No.
Okay. Okay. That's something good to know. It being so mild as to why people wouldn't educate themselves versus being extreme. So that's something that's good. Um, Fast forwarding to 2013, you were diagnosed with neuromyelitis optical, which is NMO.
Hmm.
How did the second diagnosis impact you, especially after already navigating lupus for several years?
Now this right here. Oh my! Now that's when
That one got the
I'm.
lean to the side, like,
Oh
woo!
baby, yes. Now I'm googling everything. I went. I reverted back to the lupus this time. Now I want to know about the lupus. I want to know about everything. So with the neuromyelitis optica, I got diagnosed in 2013, May of 2013. I started getting really bad headaches. Um, I was taking, when I say every counter drug pill for pain, I was taking Excedrin, I was taking BCs, I was taking Tylenol P, and I was taking like when nothing stopped these headaches, and they were ongoing headaches for days at a time.
Ooh, wee.
And then I started getting, don't want to gross nobody out, but started getting mucus coming out my eyes. I was throwing up. My mama like, okay, we're gonna go to the doctor. I went to like an immediate care. They was like, oh, you just got a sinus infection. Sent me home with Claritin. Went home, started taking the Claritin. I was getting worse. Headaches were getting worse. Throwing up everything was getting worse. Went back to the doctor. They was like, "Oh, yeah, it's just an infection." Started me on antibiotics. I started taking the antibiotics and the Claritin. I was getting worse on
Oh,
antibiotics. So my mama like, no, something ain't right. We going to the emergency room. So I went back to the emergency room and they was like, okay, we're gonna admit you because you're right. Some not right. So they thought I had meningitis. So they had to do a spinal tap on me. They did the spinal tap and I remember after the spinal tap, I was like out of it, like going in and out. Because I was like halfway, sleep. They had put me to sleep. And so all I remember telling the doctor, well, the nurses, I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom. I need to use the bathroom. And they was like, okay, they went to get another nurse. They was like, okay, let's help you to the bathroom. I went in the bathroom and I was like, I can't use it. And they was like, try to push, Miss Hall, try to push, try to pee. And I'm like, I'm trying. And they was like, no, push, push, Miss Hall, you need to pee so we could get you back in the bed. And I'm like, I'm trying to pee. I cannot pee. As I'm on the toilet, they was like, okay, well, let's just get you back in the bed and we'll try again. I tried to stand up, everything waist down, shut down on me. I couldn't walk no more. I couldn't pee. I couldn't do anything, waist down. So they ran, got the doctors, got help, carried me to the bed. And after that, I don't remember nothing after that. It was like I went back to sleep because whatever was going on was making me so tired. And I went back to sleep. I don't remember nothing until the next day when I finally woke up and realized I couldn't walk anymore.
oh my God.
And I'm like, okay, okay, I can't walk. It'll be all right. I'll start back walking in. 2 days or 3 days or whatever. That was my mindset. Like it didn't hit me. It did nothing bother me at that time because in my mind I'm thinking I'm about to start back walking in a day or so. And so they running tests, they doing blood work, and I'm still fine. And they was like, I'm at one hospital out in Downers Grove, and they like, well, Miss Hall, we're gonna have to transport you to University of Chicago because whatever's going on with you, we don't specialize in this.
Mm.
And at that time, they was like, we think it's some called transverse myelitis, and but we need to hurry up and transport you. So I'm still like, okay, because I'm still thinking after they give me some meds, I'm gonna be walking.
Right.
And they transport me to University of Chicago, and they run a test. Now they're giving me high dosage of steroids, giving me plasma exchange, doing MRIs on me, and that's when they finally told me you have a condition called neuromyelitis optica, which are these antibodies, that was attacking me. And I stayed in the hospital over a month in the hospital. Then they finally transported me to rehab, which I was at Mary and Joy Rehabilitation. And it still didn't hit me that I couldn't walk. And I'm like, when my dad and my mom finally came to see me, I was in a rehab and they was about to leave me there. They came and saw me, they left me, they was about to leave me. And that's when it finally hit. And you talking about tears, I'm boohooing crying. That's when it finally hit. I'm stuck in this rehab and I can't walk. And I'm like, okay, it's been over a month. Couldn't move no toes, no legs, no nothing. And they hit me, and that's when I guess that's when I started researching at that time. What is this condition I have? What is going on? Where did it come from? It took a month before I was able to even move one toe, and that was my right toe. It took a whole month before I was even able to move that. I stayed in rehab for over 3 months. And by the time I was released to go home, I still couldn't walk. Still couldn't walk, but I didn't let it get to me. Like I I love to laugh. That's one thing I do. I love to laugh. So it's like I'm still trying to make the best of what was going on. I'm still trying to laugh and still be happy. And, even though I was in this situation, it was like I still didn't try to let it depress me. It didn't, like I said, it didn't hit me until I got into rehab and my mom and my dad left that day. It didn't hit me until then, but I still didn't let it get me down. And with the neuromyelitis, after, like I said, it took 90 days before I could even move one toe. I went home, still couldn't walk. Just being on meds. My mother and like I say, I know my strength comes from my mom. Well, first I'm gonna give it to God. God first, then my mom, because she is very, very strong. At that time, my mom was battling cancer. Before I went into the hospital, I was taking her back and forth to her chemotherapies. Now I'm at home, can't walk. She's helping me while she's still going through chemotherapy. So it was like we had to be each other's strength. You know what I'm saying? At that time. And even my boys, and like I say, God, you wonder why, like I got twin sons, they'll be 27 in October. And I always just wonder like how I end up with twins. Like, I end up with twins. That's what I'm thinking. Like, twins. Like, out of me, ain't nobody else got twins except for my auntie and my uncle. Nobody else got twins. I got twins. And now I see why God blessed me with those boys. Because when I got out the hospital, like I said, I couldn't walk. So I had to wrap myself up, cover myself up. My boys had to pick me up like a hog. One boy on this end, the other boy on that end, carrying me to the bathroom to put me on the shower. Then my mom in there, helping me. So I see, God blesses you with what you need. So I'm like, that's why I got these boys because they've been my backbone, through it all. They've been helping me. And with the neuromyelitis, I done been blind twice in the right eye. Thank God it came back. I've been blind twice in the right eye. I done been on every treatment there been for this condition. I started off with rituximab to Celsa to mycophenolate to Enspring to Uplinza to Zolaris. Now I'm on Ultomiris. I broke through every treatment there was for this condition, and meaning that I'll be on something, all of a sudden I get a new lesion, I'm back in the hospital because now I can't walk again. Like I was able to start taking steps with the walker at
Hmm.
home and in rehab. And then I get a new lesion. It might be in my spinal cord. I got one in my neck. And wherever those lesions come, affecting my mobility. So when it affected my mobility, I ended up back in the hospital for at least 3 to 4 weeks, getting treatments again, a plasma exchange, high dosage of steroids, and getting those treatments, then back in rehab. I done been in every rehabilitation center. I done been in nursing homes. Like this condition here saw me through the whammy. But that was the devil trying to defeat me. But I never, not one time. I said, okay, we're going to do what we got to do. I'll be back out. I'm still laughing and playing. Like I said, because that's what I love to do.
Hmm.
I'm in the hospital doing my lashes because, right before I went in the hospital, I was a licensed esthetician.
So
So I'm
let's
in there.
let's go back for a little bit. When you got diagnosed with neuromyelitis optical in 2013, you was okay until your parents had to leave you in the rehabilitation center. So that's when it
Mhm.
triggered you, right?
Yes.
So at that time, did you think about the lupus and the neuromyelitis optical? Lord, I can't talk. Optical at the same time, or was that just your main focus?
At that time, that was my main focus. Um, because what I was going through, I couldn't understand. Like, what is this condition? I guess I really did revert back to the lupus because at that time the lupus was just like an arthritis thing. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
yeah, for
So
sure.
it really didn't, it really still not clicking at, what I'm saying, at that time. It didn't
Okay.
click to me until I started asking the doctors. And that's when they said, this, you already had one autoimmune condition. So that's probably a reason why you got the second. So now the lupus and the neuro clicked to me both at the same time when the doctors told me that.
Is it hereditary?
No.
They don't
Like,
know what
no.
triggered it, how you got it, what could have possibly caused it.
Only thing they told me was by me already having one autoimmune condition is the reason why a second one came. Like you're prone to get a second autoimmune condition because you have one already. But no, nobody had the lupus, so definitely nobody had neuromyelitis optica in my family.
And I
No.
can truly believe that because a lot of warriors have multiple invisible illnesses. The lupus be the umbrella, the start of everything, right? And then it be, one thing after another. Some people have two, some people got five autoimmune diseases. So I can believe that, um,
Exactly.
for sure. We're going to get into living with the autoimmune condition. So, like, what are some of the day to day challenges you face living with both lupus and MO? NMO, Nemo.
Well, my main challenge that I face is my independency. I miss being fully independent. That's one of my main things. Just having to ask for help or get help, having to get ready 2 hours in advance when I was getting ready an hour in advance. Um, make it's like I have to prepare myself and prep myself the night before, the day before, just to make sure I can possibly get ready in 2 hours. And probably the 2 hours probably include me still trying to make myself look presentable, do my hair, do my makeup. So I'm include that in the 2 hours. But
Ain't nothing wrong with
um
that. You look good, you feel good,
exactly.
you do good, right?
Exactly. And that's how I am. I'm like, okay, I might be disabled, but I can still fix myself up.
Period.
But yeah, it's my independency. I would say that's really a challenge, because I always been independent and try to do things on my own. So now it's like, even now, I hate to even ask for help, but it's like, okay, Nisha, bite your tongue, let the pride go. You need help. So, you know, I I have to ask for it. So, but I try to be as much as independent, even though I'm in this situation, as possible. Like I say, I prepare myself. So I try to get my clothes together, try to, make sure everything is in order for me so I know what I have to do and be independent. Now I might ask somebody to help me put my shoes on, especially if I'm trying to wear some cute shoes for church. Now, uh, so I might ask for help then, but for the most part, when it's my self grooming, I'm independent. I still need assistance on other things. So I think that's my biggest challenge is losing my full independence when dealing with the disability.
Would you say, because you, in your words, bite your tongue and put your pride down, would you say that you haven't fully accepted what you have because you don't want to ask for help?
So I accepted what I have. I know this is a new life for me, and I had to accept that. Um, it was hard at first, but I learned to accept it. I would say it's it still reverts back to that independence, knowing that I have to ask for the help versus when when I was fully independent, I could figure it out more so on my own. So now it's like, okay, I know I need help, so get the help that I need. And I got a good support system. So they try to help me before I ask for the help, but it's just still, that's one of the things. Just
And what makes you
asking
feel
for it.
that you don't want to ask for help, knowing that you need the help and knowing that you have a great support system?
Because I want to be as much as independent as possible. Like, I don't want this disability to take away my independence. Like, I still want to have that, feel like I have that for independence.
So, okay, I totally understand what you saying with that. But for the most part, it seems like you are independent because you do majority of it, but besides not putting on your dang on shoes, right?
I know.
Um, how do you balance your physical health with your mental and emotional well being?
The number one thing I would say, my faith, church, praying, those my first most important things. Um, and my support system and my support groups, like being with other individuals that's going through the same thing I'm going through. So I do attend the Rush Lupus Support Group, which LaShawn Gorilla hosted. She was my first lupus support group that my brother connected me with because he works at Amherst Hospital with her, and he connected me with LaShawn. So that was my first lupus support group. Then I brought it out. I started attending the spinal cord injury support group at Mary and Joy. Now I'm part of the Guthrie Jackson Foundation NMO Women's Support Group. And so just having those support groups and being able to speak with other people that's going through the same thing that you're going through, that helps you mentally as well. So you don't feel alone.
Absolutely.
I know I'm not alone. I know I'm not the only one going through this. I know I'm not the only one that have bad days. So just having that support team, that support system, that helps me mentally. And like I say, God first. That helps me mentally. And my friends also and family. So, because they not gonna let me have a pity party for myself. So that helps me.
That was one of the questions that I was going to ask you when I interviewed Dr. LaShawn Garola. Or no, I did interview her, but no, that's not where it came from. It came from Levita. I interviewed Levita, and she were talking about the support groups, and I was going to say that, like, have you found yourself being in a support group that's more so whiny and having a pity party versus trying to come to a conclusion?
I have been in support groups where other women were whiny and, felt sorry for themselves and stuff like that. So, and the other women would just uplift that person, try to make that person feel more confident about themselves and, just helping to uplift them. But yeah, I have been around other individuals that have been like that.
Do
Um,
you find being in those type of support groups that's um like that? I'm trying not to use the word whining, but that's what we're gonna go with right now. Do you find that how do you find yourself navigating around that when you coming to the support group to be uplifted yourself and to have help and to navigate better than what you came in with versus leaving out?
um, well, for me personally, I don't consider myself a Debbie Downer. So I don't let that try to get in my mental or try to, because it can. I feel like
Mhm.
when you're around that, it can affect you mentally if you let it. So, like I said, I done been around it, but I don't let it get come to me and affect my mental state.
So you have a strong mindset.
I you know Murder's Hall is my mama, okay? So I can't do nothing but have that. Have that mindset.
That is dope. That is
Yes.
so dope because a lot of undisabled people do not have a strong mindset. So I applaud you on that and keep doing what you're doing. Um, have there been moments where you felt like giving up? What helped you push through those dark days? If so,
I would say give up, but I would say I did have my down days. Not depressing days, but I did have my down days. Um, Me just staying, like I said, prayer first. If I needed to reach out to a friend, to talk to, and we laugh and joke, sometimes I even make my situation where I could laugh about it. That helps me. And just if I go around and be around my mama, I'm gonna instantly get up out that moment. So that helps me as well. And like I say, I have my church too. Like I have a good support system when it comes to my church. They pray for me. Anytime I was in a hospital, my pastor and my first lady would come visit me, other ministers. So just having that faith helps help me get through. So I'd be like, okay, God, I'm having a bad day today. I'm a little down. Let me pray. Let me phone up a friend. Let me, to help get my mind back right.
I love how you use your resources to get you back together. That's being having that dual awareness and self awareness. So that is so amazing. You can tell you
Yes.
did the work.
Yes. Yes.
I want to go back to just a tad little bit for people that do not understand what plasma, receiving plasma transfusions is. So we're going to put up a couple of photos, and I just want you to tell me the moments and what actually were they doing in these photos. You can start with number one. It don't matter. You can just whichever one. So what do we have going on right here? And you look beautiful, by the way. I mean, that face
Thank
is
you.
given, honey.
Yeah. So right here, I had two ports. I had a port on each side of my chest, which were actually plasma exchange ports.
Oh, it's a change.
Um,
I'm sorry. I said
yeah.
did I say transfusions? Okay, exchange.
Yeah, so they inserted ports in me that was just specifically to receive the plasma exchange. So I would say it's almost like a form of dialysis. So they was removing my plasma and my blood coming through one tube and exchanging it for new plasma going into the other tube. And then at the end, they would put my blood and stuff back in.
And what was
So
the purpose of
basic,
this?
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The purpose
Oh,
of
okay.
it was because in my plasma with the neuromyelitis optica lived the antibodies.
Mm.
So they were trying to remove as many bad antibodies that was attacking me, try to remove as many bad antibodies out of my body and putting the new plasma in, that didn't have any antibodies. So I had got that like every other day, maybe like 4 or 5 treatments, but they could only do it every other day because it will wipe you out.
Okay. Can we go on to the next photo, Tom? So what is going on right here?
So this was me receiving the plasma exchange. And if you could see the bottles that's to the right, those were like 6 bottles of the plasma. So they would remove some plasma out and then put one bottle back, one bottle in, and then keep removing it out, and then keep putting put each bottle back into my body with new plasma.
Were you awoke in this process? And also, I see, does it has to? I see how your body is kind of like downwards, right? Do you have to be like in that position in order for this process to go on?
Yes, you do have to be laid in a certain position while they're doing a plasma exchange. I was woke for it. Um, Only really side effects I felt was maybe a little lightheaded. You have to stay, hydrated, drinking water and stuff like that. I couldn't eat though while they was doing the exchange. I couldn't eat, but I can drink water to stay hydrated. But you do have to be laying in a certain position.
And how long does this take?
It just depends on how your body is reacting to it, and they can't run the machine too fast. Like they could only go at a certain pace, and
Mhm.
just depending on how your body reacting to it, and depending on the machine, because we would have machine issues where now they have to run a machine really at a slower pace. So it could take anywhere from, I would say, 2 to 4 hours,
Okay,
just depending.
that's not bad.
Yeah,
Um,
and that was every other day.
every other day. Okay, let's go to the next slide, Tom. So what's going on right here? We see a port that's in your neck, right? Correct.
Right. Yeah. So the ports I had in my chest wasn't working correctly. So
Mm.
now they had to insert the ports into my neck in order to do the plasma exchange.
So what was not working correctly?
The ports that I had got inserted into my chest
Hmm.
wasn't letting the plasma flow correctly like it needed to be at a smooth pace, I would say. At a smooth pace, my ports wasn't functioning right. So now I had to convert back to the ports being in my neck. So they would take me down to IV, um numb my neck. I was woke even when they inserted the ports into my neck. I was woke for that. And not IV, I'm sorry, IR. They would I would stay woke. They would just numb my neck, make incisions in my neck, and I think it was like three different tubes or something. No, three different lines that they would insert into my neck and down through um somewhere by the heart that they would have to, insert those lines by.
Okay. And how long did it take for you guys to notice that it wasn't properly running through your breast?
When they was trying to do the plasma exchange, the machine kept malfunctioning. Like the
Mm.
machine would start alarming, and which was telling them something wasn't right. So that's how they knew that okay, we can't do these, in her chest. We're gonna have to insert new lines through her neck. So the machine, which was a good thing, the machine alarmed them. So it wasn't just
Right.
you going through or nothing didn't go through. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's why I was like, I know you wasn't laying that way for hours until they figured out it wasn't working.
Right, exactly. No, that machine went off.
So it did what it was supposed to do. Let's move to the next
Mhm.
song. Okay, what is going on? Is
What?
this when you first got them inserted?
Um,
After?
no, that was right after I got them inserted. So this just basically a better picture where you could see, where the lines are at. And those green things, those are the caps. They unscrew those and put one line on one line on the other. So as one going in, the other one's coming out.
Okay. Do we have another one? I think we got one last one. And what is this? Look, just giving face. Giving face. I love that you're in such a good mood.
um, yeah, just basically the the same thing
Okay.
with the ports. Yes.
So this is very you done taught me something. I mean I've heard of plasma exchange, but not to this extent. So
Mm,
you learn something new every day, right?
yes.
So that's going to lead us right over to advocacy and community. So you're active in the lupus community and participating in lupus walks. What drew you into advocacy and volunteer work?
So what drew me, like I said, I started with Rush, Lupus Support Group with Dr. LaShawn Garillo. And so I started doing my first walks with Lupus Society of Illinois. And at that time, I was walking on a walker. So I do, so many, mm, I ain't gonna say miles, because no, I didn't do so many feet. I
It's
did so many
okay.
feet,
Miles,
right?
feet, whatever.
I did so many feet with walking, with the lupus walk. And so she inspired me. She said, you know what, you could start volunteering since, the walks might be too difficult for you to do. So I started volunteering with Lupus Society of Illinois. So I volunteer every year. This year they're just going to be doing it in Naperville, but I always do it the Naperville walk and the Chicago walk, in which I did at the registration desk, just registering people in for the lupus walk. But just me volunteering, just giving back, knowing that okay, this is something that I'm battling with every day. Just to give back and back to the community and donate my time and continue to fight and advocate for this condition is what started me.
That is so beautiful. Tom, can you please put up the information for the upcoming walk that's going to be in Illinois? So this right, tell us what this is.
So this is Dr. LaShawn Garillo. Far as the Lupus Society in Illinois, just even if you're not able to do the walk in August, it's August 9th. Even if you're not able to do the walk, you could always still donate for the cause. So this is just donating back to the Lupus Society of Illinois. And so this is the team that I'm on with Dr. LaShawn Garillo. So you could just always donate, if you're not able to do the walk.
Are they able to join a team as well if they're not
Yes.
able to donate?
Yes, you can always join the team, Russian Stars, which is part of my team with Dr. LaShawn Garillo. So you could always join the team as well. And it's with Russian Stars.
Okay, so if you guys are not able to, it would be nice for you guys to show up as well. So whatever you guys can give, or you can come in present in person to show your support. This is the information that the walk will be at, the location, the time, and the dates. We will be dropping Nisha's information and LaShawn Garola information for you guys to get more information if need be. So thank you so much for that. Um, what role have support groups and community connections played in your healing and resilience?
I would say all of them. Every support group that I have, that I'm in, because you're meeting different people, you're networking with different people, you're just listening to other people's stories and listening to what they're going through. That, it helps me with my journey. It helps me to keep fighting. It helps me to keep going. And you think your story might be bad, and then you hear other people's stories. Then you hear other people that fight and that keep pushing, and like I done met women with the neuromyelitis optica condition. One
Mhm.
time was on ventilators and couldn't walk, couldn't see, couldn't do nothing. And now they're like a walking testimony, not using any device, not using anything. And so that helps me with my journey, my to keep fighting and keep going and continue to help build my faith up with just just being around other support groups. That's like, healing to me anyway, far as just being able to tell your story and hear other people's stories as well.
That is true. And it's so beautiful to have you in I don't even want to call it a situation because I don't feel like it's a situation. You know what I mean? Like I know it's unfortunate, you were in your 20s and you was living such a beautiful life and now this, then you're not able to walk, but you still can cook, you still can talk, you still can work. You look absolutely beautiful. You're very stylish. You still do all of these things. And whatever reason why you are in that chair for the limited time, because it's always possible that you are able to walk again in the future, correct?
Yes, well, I would say around the house I am able to do like 80 feet with the walker. At one point I was using just a rollator walker at one point. I wasn't even using the wheelchair. But like I say, I was breaking through every treatment there was with this condition, far as the different infusions that they were putting me on. And so now I'm going back to therapy in July, but I am able to do like 80 feet with the walker just around the house at this time. But I'm keeping my faith that I'll be back on my rollator or without anything back in the community walking.
Yes, blessings to that. And faith is everything. And if it's meant to happen, it definitely will. It definitely will. I just love your resilience and your faith that you have and the confidence that you have. So there's people that's not in a wheelchair does not exude the confidence that you have and can and nor have that mindset. So that says it speaks a lot. While we are talking about disabled or disability, I do want to bring up something that is going on in Wisconsin. She played on the movie called The Wicked, and I don't know if many people know, but she's actually in a wheelchair in real life, and so this going to be an event coming up for those that who can attend. That is it will be a walk in the park. Um, what's her name? That looks so blurry. Who? Marissa Bodie. Her name is Marissa Bodie, and she's from The Wicked. And the information is up on the screen, you guys, and the website as well. So many people do not know, like I said, that she is wheelchair bound. Okay, and that's just absolutely beautiful too, because some people that's in a wheelchair feel like their life is over. They can't accomplish their dreams. They can't do this. They can't do that. And she is somebody that's telling you that you can do it. You can do anything you put your mind to, anything that you're willing to do. It may be a little harder, a little longer, but if you excuse me, set your mind, set out to do something, it can definitely be done. And this is an example. So I would say check her out and check the event out if you guys are in the city. Thank you so much for that song. Um, how has sharing? Oh, before I do that, did you know anything about her prior to? Tone.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Tone, what did you know about her? You Can you talk? I don't know if you got a mic or not. Okay, so he don't want to get on mic. My producer never wants to get on the mic, but that's okay. But he said he knows that he knew. Did you know anything about her, Nisha?
Oh no, I no, this is my first time ever hearing about her. No.
Yes, and that one I didn't know until I knew. I was like, what? Everybody that seen that movie, that's a lot of action that's going on in that movie. I'm talking about a lot going on in that movie. And she is the main character.
Oh wow.
Well, second main character. Now he wants to talk because he wants to correct me. Second main character. Point is, she's doing a whole heck of a lot. Okay. So, yes, and if y'all haven't seen that movie, go check that movie out and you'll see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. Oh, and it's
I'm
a part
definitely
two
gonna look
coming out.
into it.
It's a part two coming out. So listen, we are all powerful. Wheelchair, not wheelchair, with an illness, not with illness. You want to know why? Because even people that do not have an illness, something is always going on with somebody, whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. It's all a struggle. It's all a struggle.
Yeah.
So, and we all got pushed through in our own way. Um, how has sharing your story publicly helped others, and has it helped you in return?
Yes. So helping me in return. You just don't know how I go through anxiety, like far as when I first got in this wheelchair. Like just being in a chair and being out in public alone. My anxiety would hit before I even walked out the door. Like I'd be like, oh my God, everybody's looking. Everybody gonna see me. Hope I don't see nobody I know. Like um the anxiety would hit. But as I got more comfortable just being out and I guess also people would come up to me and just ask me like, "How did you get in a chair?" Like I guess I wasn't ready for the questions either because that that worked on the anxiety. So I'm like, "Oh Lord, here we go. I'm about to get questioned, but while I'm in this chair," and that's why I say me and my friend always crack the joke because I start off like, "Well." In 2006, it's like I'm telling this whole story all over again. So that anxiety would hit, but like I say, it I started getting more comfortable and with people even asking me and just knowing that okay, I might be in this situation, but I might be helping others as well. They might have anxiety too, you know what I'm saying? But just so they could see me, like I said, I still go to church, I still attend my support groups, I still get out in the community, I still volunteer. So me just doing what I'm doing, I feel like could help others, and they probably be fearful, but it probably helped them as well. Like, oh, she have anxiety. She, was fearful at once, but maybe I could do it. Maybe I could overcome my fear and, do the same thing she's doing. So I try to even though I might be feeling a certain way, I try to look past that and, just keep going so I can help others. They could look at me, see that I'm doing it, and they could feel more comfortable with, overcoming their fears.
For sure. And just to go back to what you said when you was like you wasn't ready for all the questions that the strangers, the people will ask you that's out in the community. And you stated that you hope you didn't see nobody that you knew. So would you say that's more a reflection of how you see yourself as to why you are embarrassed or playing thoughts in your head, what you think that they are thinking about you?
Wait, could you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Okay. In a shorter version, would you say that's how you view yourself versus how they really view you in public, because that's how you see yourself. When you said that, you will be embarrassed and so on and so forth.
Yeah, yes, yes. That's you're right. I definitely would view myself that way. And it was my own insecurities, I would say. My own anxiety, my own insecurities, me feeling like that. And then when I would get out there, even though it was going through my mind, like, I don't want to go through the questions, I don't want to go through this, I don't want to go through that. It was like people still made me feel comfortable and still, it was like they made me feel comfortable, even though I was feeling a certain type of way within myself. People will still make me feel comfortable, even when I, went out in the community.
Thank you for that, because somebody's gonna look at this and they're gonna say, like, I'm playing on my own mental. A lot of people play on their own mental and think that that is what other people are thinking, or how they are being viewed, or what is going on in the real world. You got to get out your head sometimes, because those are your own thoughts, and people don't understand they thinking that way because that's how they view themselves. And I'm so thankful that you admitted that, because that's even going to take you a step farther to be like, no, I don't view myself like that. And eventually, while doing the work, you're not going to even think like that no more. You're going to be able to come back on here and be like, listen, I don't even think like that no more. I get my chair and we be out. We be going here, 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 and there. And my anxiety probably just be a little bit, but it was not to where it was. And
Right,
again,
yes.
this message is for anybody, because so many people are in their own heads. You got to get out your head sometimes. You got to be able to sit where it's quiet and sit in it, but also understand, like, that's just me overthinking.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, because I overthink a lot.
Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not at all.
Right,
We
exactly.
talk ourselves into a whole situation. That's a whole
Oh,
script
baby.
movie
Yes.
that ain't not going on.
I done had a whole scenario in my own mind.
That is funny. Oh my God. Okay, so now we're going to move on to awareness and misconceptions, right? What do you wish more people understood about lupus and Nemo?
Um, I would say just researching, just knowing that, people might look at it like, oh, she's sick, or they person sick, don't get by me, or, people have their own perception of how they look at different conditions. So I just want people to just research yourself. You could see that it's an autoimmune condition, it's not contagious, it's, just a disease that someone might have, and just research on your own, and just looking into it just to see what these conditions might be about, or what, just looking out for, you might have different signs, or you might be feeling a certain way, your body might be feeling a certain way, and just being able to just advocate for yourself and research for yourself about different conditions and these illnesses.
I will have to agree with you, because it's different from me telling you what's going on with me versus you reading it. You know what I mean? I feel like people get a better understanding once they read certain language, versus somebody just telling them. I feel like, because for me, I understand. Like, I can sympathize with you, but once I read it, I'm like, oh, wow, okay. I have a better understanding of it. So you are absolutely right. Do the work yourself. Are there any misconceptions or myths about autoimmune diseases that you often find yourself correcting?
Mm, Yeah, people have different myths about it. Some people might think, is it contagious? That'd be a number one thing. Is
Is you
it's
talking
sad,
about?
right? It's sad to say, but yes. um,
Somebody
people
just asked
just
me the other day. I'm like, what? They said, I quote, "How did you contract it?" I said, "What are you talking about?" Like,
That's what I mean. Like, people come up with all type like I be coming over my head with these scenarios. All people, they come up in their head with all different types of myths. So yes, I would say the number one thing is like you say, how did you contract it? Is it contagious? Um I can't really think of any others right now, but that's the number one thing. That's
it sure is.
definitely a myth.
It
That's
sure
definitely a
is.
myth.
You guys, do your homework. You cannot contract these invisible autoimmune diseases. Okay. All right. Oh my goodness. How can friends, family, and even strangers better support someone with an invisible illness?
Not talk down to them. Some people might think because it's not visible that they might think, oh, ain't nothing wrong with you, or oh, she just faking, or I would say be more compassionate to others.
For sure.
Um, be more compassionate. That's why I say do your research so you can see that everything is not visible. The person could be going through something internally. So do your research yourself so you could see what all the symptoms could be with autoimmune conditions, or what all a person can go through with autoimmune conditions. So that's why I say just be more compassionate. I would say be more compassionate with others that's going through or have it.
For sure. I will totally agree with you being more compassionate, more understanding, having that open mindset, having that open mindset. And if you do not understand, if you care enough, go research it yourself. That's the best thing that you can ever do is go research it yourself so you can have something to talk about versus
Exactly.
asking all the questions.
Yes.
That's gonna lead us over to hope, resilience, and moving forward. You've shown such strength in the face of multiple diagnoses. What does resilience mean to you?
That means having faith, prayer, strength, um, not feeling down, not like I say, having a pity party for yourself, the being around other positive people, your faith, your support system. Like I could just go on and on far as
Mm,
with that. Like it's being positive, staying positive.
sure. Because being positive definitely exudes in your actions and behaviors. For sure.
And not having negative people around
For
like
sure.
that, because that could affect you as well.
Almost definitely. So you gotta know when somebody time has expired. And it's okay.
Yes.
Let them go. Absolutely
Hmm.
okay. How do you stay hopeful even when your body doesn't cooperate?
Now that because that brings me back to having that anxiety dealing with the neuromyelitis optica. Because like I say, I could I pay attention to my body. Like I had to learn this new body. So it might be days where my leg then went numb, or my arm is numb, or I feel like I'm having headaches on this right side where, I went blind at. It's so just being hopeful, like, okay, let me pray. Nothing is happening. I'm gonna get through it. Okay, don't worry, So it's my body sends off different triggers every day. So I just got to stay hopeful that nothing else is happening. Nothing else is about to attack me again. Nothing else. So just staying in prayer and paying attention to my body, knowing, okay, it's just like a 24-hour thing, and then it'll go away. Because there's been times where I felt something and I immediately go to the emergency room. Like, okay, my leg numb. What's happening? What's going on? What's on? So it's just really paying attention to your body, just knowing your body, and that's the number one thing. Like you have to learn your body. You got to know the new body that you have now. And that's what helps me get through it. That's what really helps me get through it. Just paying attention to different signs.
For sure. Nobody knows your body better than you. Your body's going to talk to you, and your body's going to let you know what is missing, what is need when something is wrong. So, absolutely, you do have to pay attention to your body. You want to take care of that. We only get one. We only get one. Um, what message would you give to someone who was just diagnosed with an autoimmune condition and feels overwhelmed or alone?
I'm gonna go back to God's. If you don't have a church home, try to get in a church home. Try to get under good leadership. Stand in prayer, advocating for yourself, getting if getting into a good support system. Um, like I say, even if you just got diagnosed with lupus, try to find a lupus support team so you can be around other women or other men that's been diagnosed with the same condition, so you can see you're not alone, and so you could, just know how to deal with it, and just being around more positive people, like the negativity, because you already just been diagnosed with something you might not know about, don't have a clue about. You going through these different symptoms, so you don't need the extra stress and the extra negativity in your life. So that's why I say just get yourself around more positive people, advocate for yourself, and put God first. That would be my recommendation to somebody.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And last but not least, if there's one thing you hope listeners take away from your story today, what would it be?
Just knowing that you're not alone, knowing that you're not the only one that might be going through whatever you're going through. It is others, out there, it could be worse. I will just, keep your faith, stay strong, stay around positive people, keep the negativity out. Um, Just, like I say, learn the new you, learn the new you, and learn how to, deal with the new you. And and I learned today, even just being on this show, like I feel like my anxiety has even decreased, just letting others know about me and letting others know what I've been going through. So yeah, just be around positive people and keep your faith in God.
And trust yourself. We had a conversation yesterday and it was all of these questions. And I'm like, just trust yourself. So trusting yourself allows you to say, like, there's no anxiety right now. it has decreased. Is I was overthinking. I was in my head, and this I like this. I oh, this is our first podcast, you guys. So she's gonna be doing more
Yes.
trust.
Oh Lord.
Uh,
Oh goodness. Oh boy.
yes, 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 yes. I absolutely love this story. Before we end off today, please tell them where, because she is an esthetician, okay, a licensed esthetician, okay. Before all of this had happened, she was actually doing everything, but I told her maybe you can go in a different direction as far as like teaching class in a classroom, like in a college or something of those. So she does still do lashes to this day, makeup, what else you do, and let them know where they can find you at, what you got up and coming, and where they can follow you at.
Okay, so yeah, I'm currently still doing cluster lashes. I'm dibbling dabbling with the extension, so just give me a minute with that. But with the cluster lashes, I'm on Facebook, Tynesha Naturally You Lashes Hall, my last name. So it's Tynesha Naturally You Lashes Hall
We're
is
gonna
my
drop that.
Facebook name.
Okay. Anything you got up and coming besides the walk? We talked about the walk, and yeah, we talked about the
Just
walk.
right now, just right now, the Lupus Walk, August 9th, and it's gonna be in Naperville. The Chicago Walk is not gonna happen. It's usually down by Lincoln Park, but that's everything is just gonna be one time this year in Naperville, August 9th. So that's the only thing I have up and coming so far.
Okay. Um, we're gonna end in a few seconds, but when I end, you stay on. It was such a pleasure of having you. I greatly appreciate your story. Your story is so inspiring, and I've been doing this for a while, and I'm still getting inspired by people's stories. And of course, blessings goes up. You, she is my sorority sister as well. So just thank you for coming on here, telling your story. Somebody is going to view this, and you are definitely going to help someone. You know what I mean? You look
Mm.
so just you're shining right now, and you're in a wheelchair, and that says and speaks value. Okay, I don't feel like you need any more poured into you because you are doing all of the right things. It is showing on your face. But if you ever do know, you know where to go and to reach out to. You guys already know what it is. We are here every Wednesday at 6:30 on all platforms. Please comment, share, and subscribe. I do respond back. Until next time.